Jews were living in Palestine, in the Holy Land, the same as they were living in Morocco. There was no problem. They got on with their neighbors, friends. This one that way, this one this way. They were friends. They were social, everything. Comes along Zionism and says, no, we want this country. Why did they want that country? They didn't really need that country. Herzl was thinking even of taking Uganda, not only as a country, but the advisors that he had explained to him that you've got to put some Jewish theme into this Zionism of yours, otherwise no Jew's going to even think about it. So they took the name Zion. Zion is a holy name, the original name of Zion. It means holiness, and it means in Jewish religion a part, not just the town itself, but it means the temple, the actual ideal of holiness. And they took this. They called themselves Zionists. But people protested, but it wouldn't help. Then they started pressurizing the British government, who were at the time in power. They want a homeland for the Jews. The Jews weren't asking for a homeland. They were asking for a homeland. They asked for a homeland, and eventually we had the terrible day where the Balfour Declaration was announced. From the day when the Balfour Declaration was announced, the relationships between the local Palestinian populace and the local Jews was a bit on and off. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Why? Because the Zionists were out claiming that they want to take over the country. And although the Jews kept on saying, the religious Jews that were living there, we don't want anything to do with it, they were a little bit mistrusted. This one's a Jew, that one's must be that they're all in it together. The price that people pay when you get into a political situation, yes doesn't mean yes, no doesn't mean no. Politics means lies usually. There's no straight politician, or very few straight politicians. So they started negotiating. Our rabbis said that this catastrophe of Zionism will bring about a catastrophe for the world and a catastrophe for the Jews. It's well known that the European Jews suffered in the last war, Second World War, by an anti-Semitism that hasn't yet shown the face of the earth. And one of the rabbis said that this is, or more than one of the rabbis said, that this is the punishment for not fighting against Zionism enough. I heard it from people that were on a train with one of the great rabbis, it's been printed as well, one of the great rabbis who said on his way to the gas chamber, if anyone stays, let the world know that we are going here because we didn't oppose this enough. They did oppose it. They opposed it viciously. But it didn't help. Comes along a possibility that the Jews in Hungary, who hadn't yet been deported, there was 1 million Jews in Hungary, and the Germans were starting to lose the war. They realized they were in trouble. And they needed food, and they needed other supplies. They did a negotiation with Jews of the free world. Lives for goods. We will spare the lives, we will stop the transports going, and you will supply us with goods. Certain money, certain. This negotiation started off, and as a sign of goodwill, the Germans stopped the transports for, I'm not too sure, 6 or 12 weeks. No transports from Hungary. But the people with the money, with the access, I mean, this was all going through courier, behind the scenes, not official, were the Zionist authorities in Switzerland. The Zionist authorities in Switzerland refused to help out the Jews in Hungary because they said this money is more important. We need this money for political reasons. Jewish lives don't make any difference to us. We want the land. And if everybody's fighting in a Second World War and bringing up sacrifices, we also have to sacrifice. So we will sacrifice 6 million Jews and we'll have our country. They didn't sacrifice themselves. here in England, there was a well-known rabbi who fought to try and save as many Jews as possible. And he got a motion at the time, again, there was the white paper in Palestine, for the simple reason that our rabbis had been to the Mufti and discussed it, but there was a motion, they were worried that there's going to be Jews coming in the whole time and all part of the Zionist movement. And this rabbi, this late Rabbi Dr. Schoenfeld, approached the government, the English government, and got, I think it was 120 signatories for a motion to save the Jews from Europe, from the extermination. Put them anywhere. England, Canada, Australia. After the war, we'll sort out. If somebody feels they've got too many Jews, we'll do something, whatever it was. And there was a possibility of saving Jews and sending them to Mauritius. The only opposition to that motion was 3 Zionist MPs, members of parliament, who said, no, Palestine or nothing. It wasn't their lives they were playing with. It was other people's. Afterwards, the Jews came out of the camps, those that survived, and suddenly they've got saviors. They don't know where to go. And there's whole ships of Zionist groups bringing them over to Palestine. Safe land. They didn't know it was safe, but they had nowhere to go. So they were taken. The only reason why they were needed was for cannon fodder. They needed people to fight, because they had in mind that they're going to get the British out, get the Arabs out, they're going to take over. And I know of more than one instance where people were taken off, gone through a war, 6 years, arrived in Palestine, and on the day that they arrived, they're sent off to the front and killed on the front. They don't even know why. Till the time when the state was created, the Zionist state, with, again, atrocities against whether it's Deir Yassin or other Arab countries, other Arab villages, where there were men and women and children murdered or terrorized. They got their state. After they got their state, they have to fill this state. So how do you fill a state? How do you get somebody living in England, whether in comfort or semi-comfort, or somebody living in America, or somebody living in Iraq or Iran or Morocco, got a business, got a family, lived there for generations, to leave everything and go away to Palestine, to the new Zionist state. So they realized the only way to do this is through terrorist activities. They went to Iraq and they started bombing the synagogues. They didn't bomb the synagogues saying, we are Zionists bombing the synagogues. They made it look like the Arabs are bombing the synagogues to get the Jews out. And then the Jews suddenly said, we want out. And they uprooted the whole of Iraq Jewry, or most of it. They left the possessions there, leave everything, let's save our lives. There's a letter, there's books printed, I have a copy which we hope to reprint, of the chief rabbi of Iraq to the United Nations asking protection for the Jews against Zionism and against the Zionist terrorists.